Hey, Deacon Matt here, reaching out, 19th Sunday in Ordinary Time, the story of Peter walking on water. Now, today I'm not going to talk about getting out of the boat, having courage to get out of the boat, trusting in Jesus. Well, actually, I am going to talk about trusting in Jesus, but you've heard all those homilies about Peter and get out of the boat and all that. I want to look at something a little different with this gospel. Jesus tells the apostles to get into the boat and cross the Sea of Galilee. Now, the Sea of Galilee, I think, is about 6 miles across. It's big. And this crew in this boat, if we figure all 12 of the apostles are in there, fully 1/3 of this crew are seasoned fishermen. You've got Peter, Andrew, James, and John. Seasoned fishermen. They've been on this lake all their lives. They know the wind, they know the currents, they know how the lake reacts. They get into the boat and start off as Jesus instructs them. The lake is like a metaphor for our lives. We think we have things in control. We think we're in charge of things. And just like these apostles, the storm blows up in our lives. And I mean, this storm was raging. These guys, let's say they left at dark, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. It says it was the 4th watch, which means 3 p.m. That means that these guys had been rowing for 6 hours. Maybe they were sailing, but most likely they were rowing. 6 hours. They were in trouble. Deep trouble. The last time they were in trouble on the lake, Jesus was with them in the stern of the boat sleeping. And they called out to him, and he calmed the waves in the sea. But now, he's let them step out on their own. And it's a microcosm for our lives. Jesus wants us to step out in faith. And he comes walking across the water. And the thing is, Jesus has allowed this to happen. And Jesus permits these storms in our lives. Don't think for a minute that Jesus isn't in complete control of everything in your life. Even down to the slightest detail. He's with you all day. He's in charge of everything. And in the story, he comes walking on the water. The disciples are afraid, and here it is, the key, fear. Fear is what overtakes us. Fear is what separates us from the Lord. This is what happened to Peter. Peter steps out of the boat in faith and trust. And when does he get into trouble? As soon as he begins to fear and doubt. Jesus lets these storms come into our life. Some of the worst things, too, I agree, some of the worst things in our life. And yet, Jesus permits these things. Why does he permit them? To bring about a greater good. To increase our dependence on him. To give us humility. To strengthen our faith. Now, everyone that I've ever talked to, and it's in my life too, everything bad that's happened in our lives, once we come out the other side, everybody says, you know, I'm a better person for having endured that. My faith is increased. I trust in the Lord more. And so Jesus allows these storms in our life. And there's a storm right now, COVID-19, this storm. There's other storms coming, the election problems, all of that coming. And Jesus allows these things to happen. So right now, I want you to realize that he's with you and that everything that happens, He has control of, and He is in charge of. And He wants you to respond to Him in faith. What does He say to Peter? He says, "Take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid." So now this week, I want you to think about those storms, and I want you to have courage. And I don't want you to be afraid. Now, I'm not saying that if you're in the vulnerable group for the virus, to go out and run around the neighborhood and go out without a mask. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying to trust in Christ, that whatever you're going through, He is with you. So, pray, hope, and don't worry. God bless.